and here is my sweet cream or sweet corn casserole. 14 little circles out of this. Oh my gosh, that's 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. And here we are. I didn't think it was gonna pop up that easily. I gotta get to chopping those onions. And you know what I forgot on my plate? A piece of sausage. Putting this on top. And oh my gosh, these are delicious. Isn't that cute? And there, that's the finished one. I wish I had videotaped in there. Howdy y'all, and welcome to my channel. Today I'll be making a fall scarecrow doorknob hanger. I'll be using a couple of items from the Dollar Tree and some items from Hobby Lobby. And of course, you can go and get these items from any place that you wish to get. So this is not specifically items that I got at these two stores. I'm just letting you know where I got most of my items. All right, so let me go ahead and start telling you what the supplies are going to be so you can get them together and then we can build this doorknob hanger together. All right, the first thing you're going to need is you're going to need some scrap paper. I've got here some tissue paper that they use the stores to wrap up glass items, or you can get some tissue paper that you might have left over from some gifts, or newspaper print, whatever you want to use. Just some scrap paper. We're going to need some fabrics. The first fabric that I got was some burlap. So you can get burlap at Walmart, Hobby Lobby, Michael's, Joann Fabrics. And I got myself a yard. I'm not going to use the whole thing. You probably need about maybe half a yard or a quarter yard, I think would be okay. And then I got another fabric here. This is a nice autumn. This one I also got it from Hobby Lobby. And it's got some pumpkins on there. It's really pretty. This is about half a yard. These are just fabrics that I happen to have, but I did get this one at Hobby Lobby. Now, you don't have to get the exact print that I did. Just get whatever little print that you like that is fallish. And you, again, maybe just about a quarter yard is all you need. Okay, I also got this other fabric, and this is, you do have to get it in a neutral, kind of a khaki, light tan color, or rather skin tone. This is going to be to make the face of our scarecrow. So just get yourself about, again, a quarter to half a yard. And I forgot what I was going to say about that. Oh, anyway, you're going to use this for the scarecrow face. Now, if you have some pantyhose or some knee-high nylon somewhere laying around in your home, or if you can find them, because I really don't know where to go find them. This is really what I wanted to use, but I decided I'm going to use fabric because I don't want to go through the hassle of the hunt. And that would be the easiest thing to use to create the face of our scarecrow. So you can use a nylon from pantyhose or little knee-high socks. But this is what we're going to use if you can't find that. Just get yourself some neutral colored skin tone, and you can get it any shade you want. You can go darker than this and it'll be really pretty. So just go ahead and do that. Now, from Hobby Lobby, I also happen to have some raffia. You can find raffia at the Dollar Tree. So just so you know, there is raffia at Dollar Tree. And you can also get these at other craft stores, so it's not just Hobby Lobby. And then I've got some batting. This is quilter's batting, but you can use fiberfill or pillow, you know, the pillow kind of stuffing that you use for cushions and such, or crafting. You could just get that instead of this. I happen to have this already. I got this at Hobby Lobby in case you want to know. But you can get whatever you want to use to stuff. Now you could also use some plastic bags to stuff. You could also use lots of cotton balls if you happen to have some laying around. It's just something that you can use to stuff our little faces on our scarecrow. And of course, I'm going to go through those steps. Now, from Hobby Lobby, again, I happen to have some fall ribbon right here. And this is a 1.5 inch, and it's 10 yards of ribbon, and this was $7.99, and it was 40% off. By the way, my craft fabrics were at 30% off at Hobby Lobby, in case you wanted to know about that. The burlap was actually on clearance, so just get any burlap. It's not really expensive. So just get yourself like a quarter to half a yard, like I said, because you could use it for other things besides the scarecrow. So if you happen to find a good deal, go ahead and get yourself a yard and save it for other craft ideas. So just get some ribbon. You could use this wide ribbon, or even use a lesser width of ribbon, about that wide, a half an inch or so. Just something fallish. You can also buy these at the Dollar Tree. I got this at Hobby Lobby because I happened to be shopping there, and I thought it was a beautiful ribbon, so I grabbed it, and it was 40% off. Okay, now what do I have from the Dollar Tree that wasn't as expensive? And like I said, get your items from wherever you want. But at the Dollar Tree, they have these cute little doorknob hangers. Look at that. And it's already got some jute around this part right here that hangs on the doorknob. And it's got these nice little bells, and I like the colors. They're green gold, and it has a brown one in there. It's really pretty. It even has a little pretty ribbon right on it. So this is a door hanger is what it's called. So we're going to be using this to create our Scarecrow door hanger. So you need one of those, and if you happen to already have one from some other times, spring or whatever, Christmas, and it has some bells, go ahead and grab that, and you can recycle it or reuse it if you want to do that. And I've got some little bits, leftovers from other crafts that I did, items that I got from the Dollar Tree. So this is what I have. For example, I've got little pieces of little flowers here. As you can see, are little sunflowers and some little yellow filler flowers. And then I had this little piece left over also from items that I got from the Dollar Tree, like little pomegranates. Those are cute. And I have some other little floral stems. All of this I got from there, and I had some leftovers, and I even had a little piece of some leaves. So I thought this was great because I could use them. I didn't throw them away. And then I also have these leaves here. It's a packet, and these are left over from 2 different color packets. So you can get yourself some little packet of leaves like this, or using spare bits that you have left over from something else. I also had some burlap ribbon that was left over from another project, and I don't know if I'm going to use this. I may not, but I'm going to go ahead and put it aside. Now, I already happen to have some hemp string, or if you want to use jute or a little rope, or even some very thin ribbon, you're going to need some of that. So just get yourself some of that. Mine's all tangled up, and I really don't care. I just cut off little pieces as I use it. So I'm going to use that. And those are basically the supplies to build. Now, we want to have a face on our Scarecrow. Now, you could get some scrap pieces of fabric or even some felt to create the little eyes, the nose, and the little mouth. And I'm going to go ahead and paint them on. So I've got some black paint, some black acrylic craft paint. I've got some white. I've got some pink, and I've got some orange. Now, you could also get some blue or some green, depending on what color, or brown, depending on what color you want the eyes on your Scarecrow. But you still need the black. And then you need some assorted brushes, a nice flat one, and some little slim liner brushes like that. I've got a little plate to put my paint on, napkin, water, and I've got a pencil to do some drawing, some quick drawing. I've got my glue gun, glue sticks, these are my tools, and I need a wire cutters. I'll need some floral wire. This is a 22 gauge from floral wire. Get it from wherever you can, and some craft scissors. All right, those are the supplies. Get them all together. Get some tea, something to drink, relax if you're not going to do the craft and you're just watching. But if you're going to build this with me, go grab your supplies and let's get ready. Okay, I've got all my supplies spread out, and I'm going to go ahead and move aside all my little decorative bits because I'm not going to use them right away. I'm going to build my Scarecrow head. So like I said, you're going to take your paper here, and what you're going to do is you're going to trace out a large circle, and you can use a paper plate, just a basic, what is it, like an 8-inch paper plate, or you could use a ceramic plate that you have at home, a dinner plate, and use that to trace out a circle. I've already done that, and so I've got this one, and I think I'm going to measure it because I just did it. I just drew it out with my pencil real quick, and then I just cut out a circle. So I'm going to trace it so I can tell you how big my circle is. Or actually, I'm going to measure it, not trace it. Okay, I was thinking it was about 12, but it's actually like 14.5 inches in diameter. So you can go that big or you can go smaller. Like I said, you could do an 8-inch and that would be just fine. You'll just have a smaller head. So it just depends on what size you have. But if you're not sure, just cut yourself a nice big round piece to start off with. And then we're going to need a smaller one. And this is going to be for the brim of the hat on our Scarecrow. And this one's about 7 inches in diameter. You can do 6 or 7. You can cut this after you've put together your little head, so you'll know what size to cut it. So this is just the size that I'm guesstimating that I'm going to need, so I've got them ready. And then I'm going to need sort of like a little triangle, and this is to create a cone like that. That's going to be for the top of my Scarecrow hat. So you want to do something like that, okay? And this is, let's see, it is 5.5 inches tall, and it's about 9 inches at the widest part of the bottom, in case you wanted to know. Okay, so we're going to use these to trace out our pieces for our Scarecrow. But I'm going to wait on the hat, and I'm going to go ahead and cut out my head. So that's where I'm going to be using my skin toned craft fabric. Let's get everything else so it doesn't compete with the, so let's go ahead and open that up. And we just need, I'm going to be making 2 of them. So this is already on the fold here. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it like that. Now you could put your circle straight right on there and pin it down and then just cut all the way around. Or you could fold your pattern that you've cut out half and then half again. And you could do the same with the piece of fabric, the part that you're going to be using. And I need about that much. And then I'm going to fold it again. So now I've got these 2 bits folded. Okay, so now I'm going to take these 2 folded edges, put them along the 2 folded edges here, and the one big one that's not able to spread open on this side over here where the other fold is on the fabric. And then I'm just going to use that. You can just pin it down. Use a fabric pencil if you want to mark it and trace it out, or just cut it out like I'm doing. So now we're going to go ahead and put this fabric leftover away because, you know, it's got some nice piece on there and I can use it for something else. We're going to put that away. And we've got our 2 circles. This one and that one. So now we want 2 big circles. So it's always better to cut bigger than what you think you're going to need because then you could always trim it. So let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and put some batting in them or some fiberfill or whatever you're going to use to stuff it with. Now you could take a needle and some thread and just baste along the edges and then pull on the thread so it all brings it up like a little bag. And it gathers it, and you got like a little bag, and then you could just stuff it. That's not what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do it the simple, easy, no-sew way so that I don't have to explain all of that, what I just did again. But those of you who sew know what I'm talking about. Okay, so you're going to get a little bit of your batting and just make a ball like so. Put it right in the middle, bring all this upward, and just gather it. Gather it between your fingers and just push that in there like so, like a little bag, just like that, and just pull it as taut as you can so that you have that cute little pom-pom looking face. And this does not have to be perfect. This is our little scarecrow. We need him to be looking completely homemade, so just make it as tight as you can. Take some wire, about 5 inches of wire or so, and just wrap it around. And this is what I mean by there's no sewing necessary. And that's what you're going to create, okay? Just that. So let's do another one. I'm just pushing the little ends into the middle and then creating my little, like if you were doing a dough ball where you push, you know, the dough like that in so that you have this nice smooth side that goes facing downward. We grab all of this, grab it, grab it, grab it, just like if you're making like a little pouch of something, a little pouch of herbs that you stick into your soup. Now don't worry if they're not the same exact size. Maybe one might be a little bit smaller, and that's okay. We want this to be completely handmade looking, which it is, because it is handmade, but we don't want to be perfect with our little scarecrows. Okay, so now we're just going to pull on that. Wait, let me see. I got this fabric right here. Okay, push in. Now, there we go. Look, he's got a little bit of a different shape, but that's okay because it's kind of interesting, the little shape. Maybe we can use it like that. That's his little face. Okay, I am going to now trim off the excess wire because I don't need these long bits sticking out. And one thing that I forgot to mention that I mentioned in my other videos is I use some like needle nose pliers, and what I do is I just curl in the ends of the wire so they don't poke at me or, you know, cut me or just, you know, it'll hurt one way or another. So just do that. Now this little bit that's on here, we're going to trim that off. Okay? So once you know that you like the size, go ahead and trim it as short as you can. Do a little bit at a time. And just trim off as much of it as you can. You see that? That's what you're going to do. Let's do it to the other one. And there we go. Got it back here. I'm going to throw all my trash in there for now. Okay, there we go. So now I've got two little heads for my scarecrows. Okay, my little faces. And I'm just going to kind of push them down, flatten them up as much as I can. And there you go. Okay, now we want to make their little hats. So let's get to making that. So we're going to take our burlap, whatever color you want to do. Maybe you want to get two different color burlaps and make two little hats. And we're going to take the smaller circle, and I'm going to go ahead and test this out on my scarecrow. And I like the size, so I'm going to go with that. So I'm going to cut one of them. I'm going to cut my pull my fabric in half. Let me go ahead and open the whole thing. There we go. Pull my fabric, one end of it, in half. Oh, I'm making a mess. Let's try this again. Okay, the best thing to do would be to fold it in half and then go ahead and trim off that one piece. Just the piece that you need to make two circles. Okay, now I can fold the rest of it and put it away. Alright, so here's the piece that I cut off. Now if I fold it in half, you can see that I can get two of this size circle. One of them I'm going to want it a little bit smaller because the other head is a little bit smaller, but I'm going to go ahead and cut both of them this size. So I'm just going to, again, this is, let's go ahead and cut it so you know what I'm talking about. So this fold here doesn't confuse you. Okay. Now you can make as many of these little heads as you want. You can make 2 or 3, 4 if you want, but really it just depends on how long you want your door hanger to hang. And I'm just going to do 2 little heads. I think 3 would be actually kind of ideal, but I'm just doing 2. So there you go. Again, you can pin it down on these 2 pieces and cut out your circle. You can fold it in half, fold this in half, and then just cut that out. You can fold it in half one more time and do it. And you can see that I'm not cutting it perfectly. And it doesn't have to be perfect because I do want it to be, again, very homemade. One of them, I'm going to take it, fold it in half, fold it in half again, and I'm just going to trim off about 1/2 inch all the way around. So that's about 1 inch that I've cut off, and I've made a smaller one. So now I've got 2 different sizes. And let me get rid of all this. This is a good piece left over, so I'm going to save that. Then I make trash. Save my little patterns because I might want to do this craft again. And here is my little top of my hat. Oh, wow, I'm going to need these over here. So let's go ahead and save these bits for that. And if it doesn't come out of that, we'll just cut it off something else. But it does. So just align it to where it fits. If it doesn't, grab another piece of your burlap and cut another one out. Okay. And there we go. Cut those out. So now we've got these 2 little triangular type cones for my hats. Alright, so now here we go. Let's go ahead and get some raffia. We're going to start building our little scarecrow head. Let's decorate some of it. Take some of this raffia. Here's the end. This is the end that's tied up. This is the loose ends. And I'm going to cut about I'm going to cut about 6 inches of raffia, like that. Just some bits like that. All right, oops, get that over there. And we've got our hot glue gun ready here. And this is what we're going to want to do. We're going to take our little scarecrow head, and you can decide what shape you like best for the chin. So I like this part best for my chin. So then this is going to be the top of my head, and it doesn't matter what it looks like because of course it's going to have raffia for hair, and it's going to have a little hat on there. So that's going to get covered. So now we're going to put some glue, and you're looking at it so you can see what I'm doing, but you would turn it around so that you could look at it and decorate it. But I'm going to turn it around so that you can see it. And the nice thing, it's got this little bit here, so that's letting me kind of set it down. Now if you don't want to see this, you could get some more of the same fabric and cut little circles of the fabric and then glue it over that, and that'll seal all of that and you won't see it. Okay, you can do that. Now I decided this is my little chin, so there we go. I'm going to put some glue down the side, and I need some more there. And you just take a little bit of raffia at a time, and this is going to be time consuming. You're going to go ahead and put some raffia coming down the sides here like that. Okay, and you're going to do it on the other side as well. You're going to want some of this raffia going down the other way, and then if you want, you could even have some coming down on the back. Now you don't have to waste your raffia and use it coming out on the back because you're not going to see that. That's going to be against the door. But if you're going to want to maybe hang this somewhere from a door, you know, like the arch of a door or something, then by all means go ahead and decorate the back of it. I'm not going to do that because it's going to be hanging on a door, and it's basically going to be banging up against it every time we open it. So I can hear those bells ring every time someone walks in, which will be cute. Okay, so what you're going to do is just going to keep adding as much raffia as you want for your hair, and then you're going to put some also in the front, but we're going to trim that a little bit, and we're going to put that right there. And don't worry what the glue looks like on the top because we're going to cover that up with a hat. So then we want some of this raffia up here for the bangs, like that, and just put as much as you want. Okay, so I'm going to continue doing this, and I'm also going to do it to this one here, and then I'll be back so we can do the little hats. So I've gone ahead and put raffia on the tops of my little scarecrow heads, and what I want to do now is I want to trim some of this. So just one at a time, just trim them off. They're different lengths, that's fine. So we just want to trim off some of the little bangs. Now you can go ahead and trim off the little hairs if you want, but I'm going to leave them like that because I think they look really cute. And I can also decide later, once I put the brim of my hat on here, how much more raffia I want to put, if I want to add more hair to it. But I'm going to go ahead and follow that advice about covering the back with some fabric just to hide that little knob that I have in the back. So I'm going to go ahead and get a little piece of fabric here, just a little scrappy bit. Here's a nice little scrappy bit. And I'm just going to cut 2 little circles, big enough to cover these little gathered up parts in the wire. So I'm just going to fold it so I can cut. Let's see if that's small enough, maybe a little bit more. Okay, I'm just going to throw everything on the floor and just sweep it up later. You can use some felt instead to cover that up. The reason that I thought about, well, maybe I should cover that up is because of that little wire. I have the door that I'm going to put it on is actually a white metal door, so I don't think it's going to really scratch it up. And besides all this little fabric, I doubt it will. But just in case, I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to put glue around that little gathered up knob. Put the fabric down onto it. Use something to press down, okay, so that you don't burn yourself. Okay. All right, I've gone ahead and moved the camera so that you can see this a little bit more, or a little bit better. As you saw me finishing up one of these, I went ahead and I did the other one. My camera died on me, so that's basically all that I've done. And I was preparing to go ahead and start painting the faces on my scarecrows. So I'm going to take one at a time. The first paint that I'm going to be using is the white craft paint so that I can paint the white of the eyes. So basically, let's get that off of there. I've got some paint right there on my little plate, and just take some with a brush and just paint little circles or little ovals. Now, if you're nervous about using paint, like I said, you could cut out some little bits with felt or some little fabric and just use that, or you could even use some markers. Okay, so just lay out the white of the eyes. Let me show you what I've done. Little white of the eyes. I'm just going to remove some of this excess paint on this one. A little too much paint on my brush. And round out the other one a little bit better. So there we go. Just paint the white of the eyes, and I'm going to do the same to the other one. Lift up his little... Now, you could paint the face on there before you put the raffia, if you feel more comfortable doing that, because, you know, the little, what is that again? The part in the front, the hair in the front, the bangs might get into your paint, or they'll be in the way. So just do that afterwards. Or paint first and then put the raffia on it. Just form some little circles or little ovals, whatever you want, whatever shape you want these eyes to be. Now, one's bigger than the other, so I'm going to make the other one a little bit bigger. And there you go. Okay. So now we're going to, in that same white, I'm going to add a touch of this pink. And I'm going to use this brush again, so keep it in some water. I'm going to get another little brush and mix in the pink with a white so you can get a really pale pink, like so. Okay? And then you're going to use that to paint in some cheeks. Now this is optional, you don't have to do that. Just get it on there like so. Like that. Let me get this out of the way. Get it on there, and then just use your finger to kind of smudge it around like that. Can you see that? It's very light. Let's do the other side. Again, get some paint on there, and then use your finger to kind of move it around, and smudge it around, and make some pretty little cheeks. If they're too light, add a little bit more pink in there. A little darker pink. Smudge it around. And there you go, a little bit darker. Let's go ahead and do the same to the other one so that they're even. And there you go. Those are the little cheeks. Let's do the other one. Those circles there. Another one on the other side. I want them to be wider, obviously, than the eyes. Don't go straight right underneath the eyes. These are some nice big fat cheeks. Now, if you don't want to paint this on, you could also use some of your blusher that you have in your makeup drawer. Just to go ahead and get some on there. That's another way to get some blush on them. Look how cute they look. I think they look super cute already like that. Okay, so now we're gonna make a little nose, and I'm gonna use some of this orange. A little dab of orange right on there. And I'm gonna go ahead and use the same brush that I used for the pink paint. It's okay. Grab some of that, and I'm gonna do a little, like a little triangle. So I'm gonna do it upside down here for you. And just paint it in. Let me look at it because it's a little hard to fill it in when I'm not looking at it. And just fill it in. We'll do the other one. Right between those little cheeks there, a little bit higher. This one I'm going to make like a little bit of a longer triangle. And just fill it in. Okay, so you want to let that dry. I got my fan here, so I'm just going to kind of hold it to the fan. That's what they look like so far. And you can see they look really cute. Now after you've drawn your faces and they've dried really well, they're not going to smudge anymore. If you want to put even more raffia for the bangs and even more hair, go right ahead and do so. Okay, so once they've dried, then I'm going to use my black paint. So just shaking it up a little bit and get that little drip of black paint like that. Just little drips because we don't want to waste any of the paint, and we're not really using a lot. So now what I'm going to do with this black paint, and I'm going to get another brush here, and I'm going to do a little circle inside the white, like that. A little circle inside the white. Okay, you could do this with a blue or a green or a brown. Try to get your eyes to kind of be looking in the same direction. Don't make them all cross-eyed. There you go. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take the same brush and the little tippy bottom here, dip it into the white paint like so. Let's start with this one over here. And I'm just going to do a little dot of white in there. It doesn't have to be perfect. A little dot of white. There we go. Now let it dry a little bit better than what I did, okay? And just draw that. And do the same with the other one. Just put a little dot of paint in there. Let the black paint dry first before you do this. I'm trying to rush through this. There you go, just like that. All right, once this is all dry completely, and then you're gonna go and again with a nice liner skinny brush, the one that I used for the white paint, I'm gonna go ahead and use that one again. And all you're gonna do is you're gonna outline your eyes with that. So I'm just gonna go around. Oh, there's a little, one longer bit. Okay, I'm gonna remove that. I kind of squeeze it to kind of make that push out so I can do a better job of painting it. And I'm just going to go around the eye shape very slowly. You could use a Sharpie marker for this, by the way. And just go around your eyes. You can give them lashes if you wish. And I'm going to give this one 2 little lashes. Just like that. Do them as pretty or as messy as it comes out. It's still cute. Okay. Now my little nose, I'm going to make like little stitch lines. So I'm just going to go ding, ding, ding. And they're not all going to be facing the same way. Just like that. Make it look like it's been stitched on with some black thread. Put that aside. Let me do the other one. Okay, if you don't like the way that looks, just don't do that. Let me go ahead and outline the eyes here. There we go. Let me get some of this white and fixing this little eye right here. All right, that's good enough. Now we're going to do a little squiggly mouse or mouth? And that's going to be great because obviously we are going to be all a mess here. So just do a squiggly little smile like that. Give it a little curve on each end here. And just like that. If you can't do that, just do a curved smiley face. But I like the little squiggly bit. And plus it gives you lots of room to make mistakes. And see? I'm just going to add a little bit more paint right here. I don't want it to be perfect, so I just want it to be kind of obviously handcrafted because that's what we're doing. So that's it. That's all we need to do to the little face. We're going to let these completely dry and we will be right back. All right, so let's go ahead and take our little door hanger and we're going to remove the little bow off of it. And then we're going to remove these little ribbons that are holding this bells. And they were just wrapped around because the little bow was kind of holding it. So now we've got these little ribbons and we're going to go ahead and leave these little bells on this, okay? And now we have this cute little ring here. And as you can see, it's got these little bits down here where you can actually put some wire through or something through it. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to take some of this hemp, or if you want to call it twine, you can go ahead and do so. And I'm going to create the string from which my little heads are going to hang off of. Oops, I just smeared my little eye. That was a really wonderful thing I just did. Okay, I'll just fix that later. So let's go ahead and I wanted to use them as a guide to how big or separate I wanted them. So I'm going to go about, let's see how long that is. Okay, that's 18. Oh, goodness gracious. And another 6, it's 24 inches. So get yourselves about 30 inches of string. Double it up. On the fold it 30 inches about, okay? So let's go ahead and put that aside. I'm going to put my little heads over here so they can continue drying with the fan. And I don't touch them again. Okay, let's see. We're going to put the 2 strings ends through here. Now, if yours doesn't have this, then just bring it around it like that, and then just knot it right here, okay? But I've got these 2 little holes there, so I'm going to bring the 2 ends of the string through that. One end through one and one end through the other, like so. And just pull them both till I've got it through like that. Just like that. Okay, and just pull them so they're about the same length. Now this might get trimmed off, but we would just want to make sure that we do have enough. Okay, so right about there, I'm going to go ahead and make a knot. As close as I can. Right there. And then these strings can just hang like that. And we can take the same little bow and hot glue it back onto there. So that's what I'm going to do. I really should wait till the end and decorate it, but I'm going to go ahead and stick it on now. Okay, and there you go. All right, so now we're going to decide where our first little head's going to be. And it's going to be about right there. And this is why I didn't want to put any raffia on the back, because I'm actually going to glue those strings right there. Now I could glue the strings to the top of the head, snip them off, glue some more to the bottom, bring it down to the top of the other head, snip it off, and then bring some and glue some to the bottom. And I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to decide that this is about how far down I want it to be. And I'm going to go ahead and make a knot right there. Right where I decided that I wanted my length to be. Now I'm giving this enough length because I am going to be putting a hat on my scarecrow. And I want my little hat to fit around right here, okay? So he's actually down here, okay? The little cone of my hat. So I want there to be enough space for that. Okay, so that's basically how you're gonna measure it. So right just underneath that little knot that you just made, go ahead and trim it off. Make another knot so those two strings stay together and don't get lost. Make another knot and just hold it off to the side. And then we're gonna take this knot and glue it to the top of the head. So just put plenty of glue down on there. And you're probably wondering, wait a minute, what about the hat? Let's not worry about that right now. We're going to glue that right onto there so it'll hang off like that, okay? Now it's not dry yet, so let's keep it on there till it's dry. And I'm going to put a little bit more glue on the top over it, grabbing onto the fabric and the little string. So we're going to do that. Now to the other one, we're going to do the same. We're going to get this end that I've knotted and we're going to glue it at the top of the head. And get that in there, and we're just going to leave that, and then we'll trim it off as we need it. But first, let's just go ahead and get that on there and let that dry. I messed up my little eye, so I'm going to go ahead and fix that, and we'll come back. All right, so now I'm going to cut the length that's at the top of this scarecrow, and this is about how high it's going to go. So I'm going to make a knot right there. Just make sure, and then just pull on the little strings. There we go. And then we're just going to trim it off right there. Whoops, scissors, not the wire cutters. And then we're going to glue that knot to the bottom of this one over here. All right, there we go. Just stick it right in there. That's my husband in the background if you hear any. He's waking up from a nap. Okay, so now we're gonna knot this and do the same. You know what? We're not, because we're just gonna hang these little bells from the bottom here. Okay, these little bells, we're just gonna put some glue right on there and glue it to the bottom of our scarecrow. There we go, right underneath there. I'll just let those things dry really well. Now, you're probably asking yourself, how in the world am I going to put these rims, these hat rims on these scarecrows? Well, I'm going to fold it in half so that I know where my center is, which is like that. This is my center. And on one side of it, I'm going to cut up towards the center. So I'm going to have this, okay? And I'm going to do the same thing with the other circle. Cut up like so. And these are going to go around the little string. Now, to make it a little bit easier, I can also do a little tiny little cutout hole right there. See that? So let's do that to the other one as well. I just want you to know that I'm making this up as I go along. I had pictured it in my head, kind of went through it over in my head, but I figured that I would know what to do as I was doing this. So I may make some mistakes here and there, but you'll be seeing how to fix it, obviously, how to make it better. You learn from my mistakes. But this is the way that I sometimes do things when I want to create something. And that's just going to go around a little rope like so. And then we're going to go ahead and glue this down at the back of the head. So we're going to glue down one side like so, and then put some glue right over that little edge there. Grab the other one and put it on top of that one and just kind of push it down. So there we go. Now he's got a little brim on his little hat, okay? Now we don't want it flapping open like that, so we're going to put some glue around the edges over on top of these little raffia bits, because we want to make sure that this burlap gets glued down and covers all that up. See, now when you lift it up, you can tell that this is all covered. All these little raw edges of the raffia is covered on the sides as well. So that's what we want to do. And this is what it looks like on the back. Okay, so that's why we didn't need to put any raffia in the back. We're going to cover that up. Well, that's what we ended up finding out. Okay, so this is what we're going to do, the same to the other little face. And I'm trying not to touch the eye, but it does look dry now, but still. I'm going to move this over. Put some glue going down. And I need to put some glue in my glue gun, so let's do that. Let me check something real quick here. Yep. Just making sure it didn't get smeared. Okay, so bring this and glue it down. And then the other side as well, all along the edge of that other part, so that you can kind of overlap it just a little bit so that it causes a seal. And then I'm going to bring this up and put some glue around to cover all that mess of glue and the little edges of the raffia. Put that down. Make sure this little string is coming up through there, the little hole. Okay, and then we're just going to push down on it. Use your wire cutters, whatever you need to do to push down on it so you don't burn yourself. And then we're just going to check it and make sure that it is stuck down and covering all those little bits. So that's what we want right there, just like that. So now we're going to put our little hat cones on it, and this is going to be so easy. We're just going to put it right on there. Again, we're going to turn it over. Fold one part of it over like that. It's going to be a little tricky. You know what? Let me cut this one. I think maybe this one a little bit small. Yeah, let me cut one of them a little bit shorter because it's for the smaller hat. I keep pushing my table. It's on roller, so it's real easy. And I cut about 1/2 inch or so off the circle, so that's about what I'm going to cut off this little cone part of the hat. So fold it over, and on that edge, put some glue, and then fold over the other part and roll it over on top of that so that you have this. Okay? And now to make sure that that edge, I think I'm touching some paint. Yes, I am. Okay, let's just carefully do this. It's taking a long time for that little face to dry. Okay, so now I've got this little seam here, and I've got the seam from the back here. So I'm going to put some glue right there. And I'm going to grab that little edge with the seam and push it down onto the hat right there. Okay, can you see that? And now I'm going to put some glue up here in the front and push this down so it adheres right there. I don't have to do it all the way around. If you want to do that, go right ahead, but I'm just going to do it at those two little points there. So a little bit of glue here in the front. Grab that and push it down. So there you go. Just push it down, let it dry. Okay, we're going to do the same thing to the other one. And we're going to turn these around facing the other way because we're working from behind. Okay, let's get some glue on this edge. Fold this one over that. Like I said, it's a little tricky, but you can do it. There we go. Now some glue on this seam and bring this seam right onto it. Press down. Okay, we're going to turn it around carefully. And then we're going to put some glue under this part here, just a little dot. bring this on there and push it down onto it. And then you can see, look at that. Isn't that really cute? Now I'm going to bring this camera so that you can see this a little bit better from far away, but I want you to see what I'm doing close up for now. Now I've got this little fabric, I've got some ribbons, I've got more raffia, I've got all these little leaves and all these little flowers that I can now decorate my scarecrow hanger. So what I want to do is I want to put some little scarves underneath right here on both of their little heads. So that's why I wanted this fall fabric. And you can use anything. You can use a little gingham fabric if you want to, maybe something in brown or even in a tan or green or some orange color if you want. You can use whatever you want. You can use a bandana and cut it up and put it on there if you want. Any little scraps of fabric to do your little bandanas underneath there. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a strip of fabric all the way down. So I just need a little piece of fabric. And again, this was half a yard, so this is about 18 inches here. Obviously, I've cut off some of this ends here, so I'm not going to worry about that. And if you want to know how big this piece is, it is about 12 inches by just a little more than 18. So I'm going to trim it right around here at the 18 and just get rid of that edge. And it's not cut straight, so don't worry about that. Okay? I'm going to fold it back up again because I'm going to be cutting 2 bandanas. Fold it up. And now let me look at my little guy here. And he really doesn't need it to be that long, so I'm going to fold it in half again. And probably not that big, so let's fold it. It was 12 inches, and then I folded it in half, so then it was 6 inches. And then I'm going to fold it in half again, so that's about 3 inches. And then I'm going to fold in, about, let's do 7 inches, so that's 14 inches of fabric, and I can go ahead and trim off this bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut from the bottom, okay, this is where the raw edges ended up being in this one fold. I'm going to cut from that and work my way up to this other edge. So I'm going to go a little bit, kind of round it, and then up into those edges, like so. Can you see that shape? You can cut it just straight. You don't have to round it up. So now I'm going to take these 2, open them up, so that now I have 2 pieces, 2 little bandanas, like so. Okay, so then I'm going to take this bandana, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue so the pieces stay together. Bring it underneath and to the side, and I'm just going to knot it right here. I'm not going to knot it to close it all the way, just so that he's like right under his neck. And then I'm going to do another tie, so it makes like a little bit of a knot. And we've got these little edges. Okay, so we have that. And then that is going to get glued so that it stays onto the bottom. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue at the back. And I want that little knotted end to be at the side, okay? So I'm going to put a little dot of glue there, grab that onto there, just like I did the little cone to the brim of the hat. And now we're doing it to the bottom of his face, his little chin. Bring some of that up and just glue it down, like so. And then I'm going to do some over here on this other little side, because I want that edge to also be glued. And then I'm going to glue it over here where this little knot is. So I'm going to put some glue on the little knot and then glue it to the face. And just push down on those so that you have that little handkerchief under his little neck, a little bandana. I'm going to do the same to the other little head. And I'm going to do it a little bit smaller because the head is a little bit smaller. So let's go ahead and trim that as well. Oops, I think I went a little too. There we go. Let's see if that works. Okay, I'm going to open it up. Put a little dot of glue in there. Push it down so it stays closed. Bring it around. Fold it. Grab the two little ends here. And I didn't cut the length. I just cut the not the length going this way, but just I cut down, make it shorter going down, not across, because I still need to make that knot. And I want to have enough to do that. Okay, so then we're just going to need those knots like that. Put some glue at the front there. Grab your little handkerchief, glue it down there. The same on the back, so it doesn't move around. On the little side over here, so that that little handkerchief is spread out rather than getting all bunched up. And then a little bit on the knot. Glue it to the side of the face, on the bottom of the chin. And there we go. Now he's got another little bandana up there. You can create that however you want. If that's too complicated, just make a bow out of some ribbon and stick it on there. And that's why I did have some ribbon, and that's why I did have this other one, because I didn't know what I was going to use. This would be cute to make a little rim around the top of the hat. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, let's do that. Let's cut a piece of this raffia. And I'm going to trim it kind of in half there. And I'm going to make a rim around the top part here. Bring it to the back. Get that glue in there. My goodness. I don't know what's going on with my glue gun. Okay. Glue the ends down. Now I could have done it so that it went all the way around, but obviously I didn't do that, so just make sure you do. Okay, let's get it on this one now. You don't have to cut it in half, but I did because I thought it was a little too much, so I'm just going to put that on there. Turn it around. Okay. And just make sure they're adhered. Now we can turn this all around so that you can see so far what it's looking like. Now I've got this really pretty ribbon, and I'm going to make a couple of little bows because I wanted them to be nice big bows. So I'm going to do about 3 inches of ribbon, pinch and twist, make a loop. And my loops are about 2 inches, so that's 4 inches, and then in there. Now I'm going to have, following this video, I'm going to have how to make handmade bows. So if you want to learn how to do that, just this is going to be coming out on a Tuesday, so actually I'm going to put up that video on a Friday, and those will be my last videos for the month of September, because in October I will start making Christmas crafts. So okay, so we're just going to continue doing that, and I'm going to do 4 little loops just because I want a nice full little bow, and then I'll just trim it there and get some wire. And tie that around my... Now a lot of people like to use chenille stems, and you can certainly use your chenille stems if you want to tie up your bows. I like to use floral length I want. Sometimes the chenille stems aren't long enough because I'm making a super huge bow, and I'll explain that in my handmade bow video. Okay, so now that I've twisted it, I'm going to trim off some of this wire in the back. And as usual, I have my needle nose pliers, so I can bend those little ends down. See, I got like a little loop. And then I can go ahead and put a bow at the top of his hat right here on this side. And I'm going to take a little bit of this brim here, which is covering his face, and I'm going to fold it over, and just right here on the edge is where I'm going to go ahead and put a little dot of glue, and I'm going to fold over that brim and just glue it down and just hold it there for a little bit. Okay, now I got some paint on this little brim from the eye. I'm just going to scrape it off. Now if it starts to fray, and I'm going to kind of purposely do that to the edge of the brim, that would be so pretty. So just let it fray. There we go. Just let it fray a little bit, and then the top, of course, let that fray too. So here we go. We've got a little bow on here. And that's what that's looking like so far. Oh, I love the little bow on there. Let's push it down a little bit more so it glues down good and hard on there. Let's put some glue on this part of this loop. Push that down. There we go. All right, I'm going to make another bow, but this time instead of putting it on the right side of the face, I'm going to put it on his left side. So I'm going to do the same, about 2 inches. Now you can use 2 different ribbons. If you have scraps of ribbon, when it goes with your fall, the colors, use that, and then you can just different little bows on there. So you can just use little, and also the, like I said, like the bandanas, there would be different fabrics. The same with your ribbon, and it'll be so cute, all nice and patchwork with different, like, you know, like a well, it's not really patchwork, but you know what I mean. Scraps of fabric is what I meant to say. Okay, let's turn that off, curl it up, and I'm going to do the same to his hat. Put a little dot right there, fold it up right there, hold it down just a little bit. Okay, well that's drying a little bit. I'm just going to cut the ends here so that they're nice and have like a little dovetail finish to them right there. See that? Okay, next, the other one. I feel like this is going to be a long video, and I really do apologize if it's long, but sometimes you have to do step by step so people can understand what you're doing, and they can follow along, because I don't think it's fair to say, okay, well, I'm going to be doing this and I'll be back and look what I've done, and so I want you to see what I'm doing. So I put some glue at the back of this bow, and this one's going to go on his left side. Once it's glued down, then I can just poof up the bow a little bit more because I've squished it down a little bit. Okay, so that goes there. Look how cute that looks. It's all lopsided. I love the way the brim of the hat is all. And I had this string here, and I had knotted it because I was going to put it underneath and then hang the bells, but I feel like that would would have made it even longer. And the bells are already on these cute little ribbons. So I didn't need to put them on any kind of a string or rope or anything. So that worked out just fine, and it made it so that it's not so long, even though it is long. Now you could do these a lot smaller and do 3, and that would be really cute if there was 3 of them. Or you could use styrofoam balls and just get those little small styrofoam ball, like the 2-inch or so, and use that instead of the filling that I used, so that then you have like little smaller heads. And you, like I said, you could use nylon from some pantyhose or some knee highs, and that'll give you that skin tone that you like. You can use any color that you want to make them. I think they'll be pretty in different colors, actually. Oh, that would be so pretty. Okay, so now we've got all these little bits of things that I said I had. Let's get this out of the way. All these little bits and these leaves, and I'm going to go ahead and get a couple of these leaves, and I'm going to take, kind of tuck it right here where the bow is. Tuck that right in, and remember I had this one too. I'm going to cut those off and put another one of these on top of the other one there. That's what I did. Put one leaf, and then I put the other one on top right behind this bow. I'm going to do the same to the other side. This time I'm going to use this kind of brown tones in the leaf, kind of behind the bow here, like that. And then I'm going to take this other leaf, it's got some red, to contrast with that brown, and just put it on there. Okay. And then we can take some of these little flowers. And I had all these little flowers and didn't know which ones I'm going to use, but I'm going to use these little sunflowers. So I'm just going to cut them off, and I'm not going to use those leaves because I already have leaves from those big ones that I use. So just a little bit of glue on the little stems, again, tuck them behind the bow, but so that you can see them. And just like that. And then I'm going to take a pomegranate and just cover right there where those stems are. See what I've done? Look at that. He's got a little arrangement on the top of his head. Okay, do this. I'm going to do the same to the other one. And I think I'm going to save all those little other flowers. I don't think I'm going to use them. You can put as much as you want on there. But I think that's all I'm going to do. And the other one here. Put that pomegranate right in there. Okay, there we go. And let me show you the top of that. And there you go. All right, this is my Fall Scarecrow doorknob hanger. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the camera. I'm going to go and hang these somewhere. I move the camera so that you can see how they look already hanging somewhere. And if you like my idea, you think you're going to follow it, go ahead and leave a nice comment down below and let me know how it turned out. If you're going to try it, or if you have any questions, go ahead and put them down there and I will promptly answer them for you. Again, this is going to be my last fall craft for this season of 2017 so that I can start off my Christmas. This coming Friday I'm going to do handmade bows, so make sure you look out for that. Like I said, give me a big old thumbs up, leave a nice comment below, make sure you subscribe and share me on your medias, your Facebook, your Twitter, wherever you like to share links to videos and ideas. Please do so. It would be a great help to me if you did that, and I'd really appreciate it so that I can continue making more of these crafts for you and also create some recipes for you. And as always, enjoy!